Damn. Nice one, Goose. Let's get into the best of the rest. Oh man, that's rich. That sounded rich at least. I hope that gets on the recording.
It
Just some
didn't.
belch in my ear and then hit the record. That's fucked up, man. I see how it is. Next time I'm gonna fart the recording and send that over to you.
I'm taking out my headphones when you do that shit.
Yeah, I ain't putting the earbud back in my ear either.
I'm coming in.
After that little bit, let's get into best of the rest. First up, my date was Sajid. We got to play again. He used my extra game this year, and I retained my Dynasty belt. 18-point win, 103.5 to 85.5. My top five were outscored by his by 3, but then I took it to him in the flex, about 52 to 31. And thankfully, it didn't go to a tie because that would have absolutely sucked with my 7 points to his 54. But I keep the dynasty belt. I go to 4-2, and I gotta admit, I'm a little happy to rub it in his face after trying to take all those damn QBs from me. And Ritter ended up outscoring his.
Oh man. Yeah, he lucked into it, man. He took all the potential high scoring quarterbacks. Ritter was projected for 15.5 against Washington. He ended up with 18, so he did a little bit better in his projection, and he got you the win. So slick move there, slick move. A little chess game between you and Sahid on the waiver.
Hey, I took a chance, went with the numbers. I went against the worst pass defense or the worst defense against QBs, and it worked out, even though he got 3 picks. But hey, whatever.
Yeah, this game came down to the Monday night game. He needed some points from Michael Gallup, and pretty much I'm pretty sure Sahih was sitting in his living room or wherever the hell he sits to watch these games, and was watching this right here.
First drive, I already recognized the motion. He had already gotten like 3 catches before that too. It was amazing. I love Keenan Allen. Oh,
So
wide receiver.
he said, "That's it. I'm going to sleep." But obviously, he didn't go to sleep.
No, he wanted to, but he couldn't peel his eyes away.
No, no. So good for you. You move on to 4-2. He drops to 2-4. The difference was, yeah, that Monday night you had Keenan Allen. He had Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup had 10 targets, the most targets he's had this season, and he only came up with 5 points. 5 points. See how many catches? 3 catches.
3 catches. Yep.
3 catches on 10 targets, dude. And was it 2 of those were like end zone targets, right?
One was a little bit of a high throw by Dak, but he was open, and then he had another one that he just dropped. But hey, that would have been the difference right there, most likely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. He had probably one of the strongest teams on paper until he lost. You went over it last week. Lost A Chain and Justin Jefferson. That's a big one. Anytime you lose a number one receiver and potentially number 2 or 3 running back in fantasy, it's tough to recover no matter how many trades you do. I think he did a pretty decent job trying to fill his flexes, but in the end, it wasn't enough. The injury bug, man, that thing is going around. And I think it was coming after Christian McCaffrey in this game too. So, how you feel
Yeah,
about
he got
that?
a little. Yeah, I knew sooner or later I was going to be gritting my teeth, hoping that'll be all right. I saw the news that he escaped major injury, so I'm happy about that.
Oh,
But
good.
hey, if he has to take a week off to be a little more ready for the rest, hey, it's a long game we're interested in here. So
Yeah, he's been spectacular, man.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a cheat code, but he's been a little bit low these past couple weeks. So hopefully he'll come through. But he can take a rest this week if he needs to. It's cool.
All right.
Rest up, CMC. I need you for the playoffs, bro.
There you go. There you go. Take the next 4 weeks off on us.
Nah, nah, nah. A little too much. Got to
All
get
right.
back to the swing of things here.
Moving on.
Speaking of which, Hector took it to Luis, 126 to 92.5. Yeah, this one was pretty easy to see that it was over pretty quickly. He had Adam Thielen, 29 points, Derrick Henry, 20 points, CD Lamb got another 19 on Monday night. Top scorers, again, it was kind of a feast or famine this week. Lewis got Rashid Shaheed with 17.5 points. Schultz had 17, Lockett 15. Those are the top 3 scorers. What do you think about this game, man?
Yeah, it could have been closer. If Lewis's players, stepped up to the challenge. He only had four multi-point scoring players: Gino, Lockett, Rashid, and Schultz, like you mentioned. I don't know, man. We were kind of all living in that 100 point tier, right? We're all trying to just break that 100. And it seems like if you don't cross that 100, you're not winning. And that's kind of what happened here. CD Lamb was going for Hector on Monday night, dropped a cool 19 points. And even though Justin Fields took a big ass dump, I mean, he got hurt, so it's not all on him, but 4 points.
It wasn't that hype of a game anyway. He wasn't doing too well even leading up. I think they had 12 points
Yes.
until he got hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty bad, but boy, did Adam Thielen resurrected. I mean, this man dropped 29 points. He's one of our top receivers here in fantasy. He's the number 4 wide receiver in fantasy, and this guy's reverted back to his 2017 All Pro version. Man, tell me about Adam Thielen. What's going on?
It's hard, he reminds me. He was the one that actually reminded me that I'm old. This one. And I mean, you had a birthday recently. Happy belated birthday to
Oh,
you. Hope
thank you,
you
thank
enjoyed
you.
it.
Sure did.
And but you know what reminds me of it reminded me, your birthday, and I got a birthday later this month, and Adam Thielen is what, 33, right?
Yeah,
And everybody's calling him old. And it just made me realize, man, we're at the age now where pretty much, it's rare when there's an NFL player that is older than us, And this was a reminder of that, because it's like you look at Adam Thielen like, man, what is this old ass doing out on that field? And he's killing it. And it's like, wait, what are we talking about, man? We know what happens on Turkey Day around here. So you get a bunch of old guys thinking that they could play, together. It's bound to look a lot more ugly than what Adam Thielen could do, but he's killing it right now, man.
he really is. He really is. I'm glad. Hey, man, this is the resurgence. I'm calling this the zombie season. Zombie season because these 30-year-olds are killing it. We're talking about Tyreek Hill, Raheem Mostert, Keenan Allen, your boy, Travis Kelsey, Lockett's doing okay. We'll talk about Cup later in the show, and Mike Evans. All these guys are 30 years old and killing it. Just crushing it this year.
Yep. Yeah. It's good to see, man. I mean, the ones that we still, grew up with a little bit ago, not all the old school ones, but we still have ones that we can hold on to for more than a decade at least. So I'm down. Sorry to bring this one up, Gus.
That's all right.
161 and a quarter to 107 and a quarter. You took lost to Alex. Alex improves to 4-2. You are at 1-5. And I'd like to let you know, as you saw some of the stats down there, you are not only in last place in the league right now, brother. You have the lowest amount of points scored.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do now?
It's not much, man. It's not much you can do with this team. There's some things that we can go over later in the show, or we can get into it now. But um, it's rough, man. It's rough. You bank on these guys to doing well early on, and they don't. I've had some injuries, some guys out for multiple weeks, and then the Jaguars have not been that high flying scoring team that I expected, and I've invested so much in. So, there's still some hope, but not a lot. Hey, guess what? The glass is half full. I'll let you know. Teams that have historically scored, that have had the most points scored against them within the past couple years, have not finished in last place. Last year, for example, you had the most points scored against. You finished with a 5-9 record, finished in eighth place. The year before that, Hector had 2,053 points scored against them, finished with a 5-9 record, and he finished in ninth place. And then Carlos, the year before that, 1953, he finished with a 3-10. So, but historically, it's been 5-9 and 4-9 records. So, uh, championship status, maybe not, but we can still do a little bit damage here at the end.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, you can't wreck it every year. You know what I mean? I mean, you've had a good. I mean, fantasy football is exactly that. It's a fantasy. You're chasing a fantasy. That's what it feels like. You know what I mean? And you can't help how many points are scored against you. So, yeah, even if you are scoring the lowest amount of points, you're scoring the lowest amount of points right now. things change. Your team could peak later, and maybe that gets you in the playoffs, maybe it doesn't. But like with
Right.
me last year, it at least peaked enough for me to get that first pick this year, which, you know, gave me a head start. So you never know. It always be a blessing in disguise.
Agreed. And last thing before we leave this matchup, Alex, just I mean, can I put it out there? Can I put it out there?
You might as well.
I got dolphin fucked. Okay, that's a crime. I would like to report that to the authorities. If anybody's watching this right now, I need a warrant out for the fucking Dolphins. Okay, this is a joke. This should not be allowed. This should be illegal to drop this amount of points by multiple Dolphins on one person.
Yeah, and especially while you're in Georgia, that was, too. I didn't realize there'd be if somebody over, hiking nearby was probably like, "What is that sound I hear?" No, no, stop it. Yeah, yeah,
You
right in the
think that
middle of a Georgia forest. It sounds like somebody's getting fucked by a dolphin. Is that a
it's
goose getting fucked by a dolphin?
It is the worst combination ever. Please do not imagine that, folks. But before we leave this, these Dolphins are on the tear, man. Tyreek Hill, 814 yards. This guy's projected to cross about 2,300 yards this year. I know his goal was 2,000 yards. He has a good chance to get this, but that's the most yards in 6 games in NFL history. This is his 12th game over 150 yards, tied third all time with your boy Megatron. And then the list just goes on and on and on. Mostert, 11 touchdowns. Second to Sean Alexander in a 6 game span, and records on top of records and on top of records. Mike, we're watching history.
Alexander, that's a name for you right there.
We're watching history, man.
There's those names in fantasy that make you pause and you're like, oh, remember the days LT, Sean Alexander, Jamal Charles, like when their peaks hit,
Yeah,
not just like the real NFL, but that's a crazy list to be on, man.
they're on it, man. They're on it.
Well, going down our list, Joel and Jeff. Joel took it to Jeff. Another 4-2 to 1-5 finish. 142.25. It's 103.5. Here's an interesting one for you. Their top five actually tied 68-68. So it actually really went to their flex. And that's the story of this game right here. A pretty easy win, but you wouldn't know it looking at their prime starters at the top.
No, so this is one of the better scoring matchups. So this is King J who's invasion at 4-2, and then we got Brown underwear stains at 1-5. Yeah, yeah.
Looks like
That
cause and effect right there. King Jehu's invasion causing those brown underwear
I,
stains.
I think it did, man. My goodness. Jeff's got a good team. He's got a decent team. It gets a little dicey in the flex, but it just wasn't enough against Joel. Joel has a top team. I mean, you look up and down that roster. That's a danger. It can cause a lot of damage, and good for him. He made that trade for St. Brown, and he's reaping the rewards. 31 points. He went out there against your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and dropped a cool 12 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown. And
Not man. We definitely look like those creamsicles, but that's what happens, man. But I would say Jeff's team. It looks like the team that if you were to put with the preseason expectations, he should be 5-1, not 1-5, right?
right,
But that's the NFL right now. I mean, Lamar Jackson, he normally gets 17 points in a quarter. And this,
that,
or he has, and he's getting 17 points in a game. So skews things, man. But you live, you learn. You live and you draft differently. That's what you end up doing. But somebody who would not be wanting to draft differently is Carlos. You know that Carlos is the number one seed right now?
number one seed. I
Number
mean,
one. You know what that means? I mean, this is a 17 playoff field. So it's only the one seed that gets the bye, just like the real NFL. So he would automatically move on to the second round. And I don't believe he's made it to the second round before.
no, no.
So imagine going from never making the second round to starting there. And he has a chance to. He controls his own destiny, essentially.
He sure does. At 5-1, this dude has put up 898 points this season, and he sports a cool 5-1 record. And he's in the running for that top scoring prize, right?
Yep.
When does it close? Is it next week?
Next week, end of
Okay.
week 7, the first half top scorer. So he does have Manny on his heels. If he has a
That's
low game, Manny has a high game. He could miss out on that. But He's definitely in the running right now, man. He took it to Kyle, 13-point win. It wasn't a whooping. Kyle is the only 3-3 team in our league, so the only team at 500. Scored good amount of points, just not enough to take Carlos in this one. But uh, watch out for Carlos, man. His team can get hot even when some of his expected players aren't hitting it off too well.
Yeah, well, that's who I got next, and that's what I got to look forward to. So,
How does 1-6 taste?
hey, man, not if I can help it, but hey, it's up to the guys
It
to
is.
perform.
It is by Mageddon. Don't forget about by Mageddon. We'll get into it in a little
Hey,
bit, but
we are. You're right.
7.
Hey, you're right.
All right. So speaking of which, we've hinted at some of this, getting into what you watch, and I want to before we get into what we're each watching here, just kind of a recap of where we're at almost the halfway point, so we can actually review it next week. Carlos is at the first seed right now. Manny is at the second seed, and he would play Kyle if it were the first round at 7. Joel's at 3. He would play Hector at 6, and Alex would be hosting me in a third divisional round game in the wild card if the playoffs started today. Rounding out the bottom is Sajid, then Sam, then Jeff, then Lewis, and Goose in the last place currently. But it is
Yeah.
still, you still, even at 1-5, everybody has a chance at the playoffs, and that's all you want is a chance. So, before I move right in, just to give you a little bit more numbers that I think is interesting, this is the one that I think that matters. If you're wondering how well your team is doing and if you need to make moves or where you're basically at, the average amount of scoring per game for each team is basically between 124 and 127. 124 is our average overall for all teams, but that gets skewed a little bit. So the median is actually 127. So I would say if you're not scoring on average around 125, which that would be, let's see, a decent amount of teams, mostly teams in the bottom half there, then you're probably going to need to make a change, right? You don't want to keep just going until you're in the last place game. So kind of use that as your guide if you're not keeping up with that type of scoring. Wouldn't you say that's a good kind of rule of thumb to go by, Goose?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anything can change. I mean, we're coming up on halfway point, and you can kind of start to gauge where the teams, the strong teams, and the weaker teams are at. I said there's a lot of teams like kind of in that middle range, so we still don't know how good they are. Obviously, Houdini and the Florida Hurricanes, with over 800 points there, they're definitely the strongest team in the league. But I mean, you gotta everybody else is a contender, right? And it's any given Sunday, especially in the playoffs, when all it takes is one good game or one bad game from your team to be either move on to the next round or get kicked out of that first round. So,
Look at the
um,
teams that are no longer undefeated right now, right?
right, wow,
Yeah. And the teams that did it. You wouldn't have expected that, especially those circumstances. But I learned a little bit from the past few weeks. I'm not going to let you go first on this. What you watching? So, first off, what I'm looking at is Alex and Kyle, and I think that's the matchup to look at right now. Alex is favored by 9.5. His top three are typically that Dolphins tandem that you got a fistful of in the Georgia wilderness.
too much.
Tua, Waddle, and Mostert versus Mahomes, Swift, and Godwin. It looks like Kyron Williams might be out next week, but Kyle is a good team, man. This could be a very much a close battle, and I'm interested to see which one comes out on top.
Yeah, I mean you're right. 4-2 versus 3-3. Um, Alex has a hot team right now, and then Kyle is right there with him. Yes, you're right. The injuries are going to play a big role, and the injuries every year, right? Injuries, but I don't know. This year it seems a little bit different. It's just like boom, boom, boom. Every week we're losing big names. So you're right. Kyron Williams, we'll see where his status is this week. Zach Moss. Now we got Jonathan Taylor coming back, so that kind of fogs things up. But um, both teams have enough firepower to definitely get the win and put their owners on top this week and closer to that higher in the standings.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely for sure. And they could even their records after this week, or Alex could really get some separation in the seedings there. But what about you? What are you looking at?
Me personally, I'm gonna be looking at. Let's see. I don't even remember. Who am I looking at,
It
Jordan?
rhymes with Ranny and Roel.
Oh shit! All right, here we go. All
Good
right,
job.
take two. I'm like that drunk
Keep
uncle.
that in. Keep that in. You're not cutting that.
I'm cutting that shit. No, here we go. All right. So yeah, Joel. So yeah, we're talking about the Houdini 5-1 versus King Jehu's Invasion at 4-2. Two top teams. I'm pretty sure there's some bye weeks involved here. We got Pollard and Burrow on a bye week, and then we got Jamar Chase and Nico Collins on a bye week. So they will adjust their teams accordingly. But these are two top teams. Joel's a 4-2. Houdini just got his first loss. This man was 5-0. He's pretty much unstoppable. And then my bro Sam was able to kind of get the win. But who knows, right? It's all about trends.
Division game too.
Yeah.
Game,
that's a big one. So it's all about the trends. So are you going to start a losing trend? Are you going to start a winning trend? Which way, is it going to go? And like you said, by Mageddon, right? So this is a big week. Your team can just take an unnecessary loss just because you just don't have, your top dog. So you're playing, like you were last week. We're playing these waiver wire bums, and just praying, just hoping for a prayer that they can get you through the week. But
mixed with injuries, you mix the bye weeks with the injuries, and it's going to be tough sledding on that when you're trying to fill in that fourth flex spot. So good luck, everybody. That's for sure.
Cool. Welcome to the Goose and the Griz. The Griz is hibernating. He's eating right now, actually. So this is a little extra side piece to the episode. We got Popcorn Player over here, Sam the man, and we're bringing him in for the game of the week. Welcome.
Oh, what's up, man? What's going on, guys?
What's going on? What's going on? So we bring you in shortly to talk about your matchup that you had with Manny. It was Thank Me Later 2-4. So that's your team. You scored 104 versus the Houdini, who he was undefeated until you beat him, and then he fell down to 5-1. So 104 to 98.5, 5.5 point win over him. Man, this is a really close one.
Yes, it was, man. It was very crazy. It all came down to I want to say that Sunday night game when James Cook and Saquon Barkley, and he had Stephon Diggs.
You're right. You're right. That was a weird game. Yeah, it was a weird game. This man had 10 receptions, 100 yards, 16 targets.
It was a Stephon Diggs show.
It was just Diggs.
Fuck Gabriel Davis. Fuck everybody. Just Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, and if he would have got a touchdown, he probably would
beat me.
He would have beat you on this one.
I don't know if you've seen the throw when it was the new tight end. I don't know what the fuck his name is, but he threw the touchdown pass right next to Stephon Diggs, and I thought it was gonna go to him, but it went straight to that new tight end.
Damn, the voodoo worked. The voodoo worked in reverse that time. Yep. Damn, well that's cool. So I'm gonna show you a clip here real quick, and I want you to let me know what you think, what you were thinking when you saw this happen live. So just hang tight. All right.
There you go, fellas, right there. Take some of that cup juice.
And it's just boom over. So how you feel about that? How you feel about your boy? You've been waiting on him for a long time. You held on, and now this man is back and tearing a new hole into the league.
Just a new dragon, coming out of the box. I've been telling everybody, watch, he's gonna come and rip everybody's a-hole. So watch out now,
He sure is. I mean, he went off. What is it? 8 catches for 118. No, 7 catches, 148 yards, and a touchdown. It's his second game over 20 points. It's just amazing. third round pick out of Eastern Washington University. This is all he's been doing his whole career, averaging 1,616 yards, 18 touchdowns in his 4 years there. I mean, this guy's been a monster for you, man.
He's a beast. He's a beast. Like I said, when he's out there in the field, he's the number one wide receiver. It shows it right there in those two little games that he just came back. There's
No,
a lot more games too.
you did the right thing. And then just looking back here at the draft real quick. So you held on to him. This is your keeper. So you third round pick, and you've been waiting for almost over 4 weeks now. So it's been a while. And these are the picks. So there was like Jahmyr Gibbs, who's been out, Josh Allen, who's been so. Rashad White's been a disaster. Aaron Jones has been out this whole time, so it's almost the same thing. Ramondre hasn't been doing anything. Chris Godwin, Joe
Yeah,
Burrow,
I got a
garbage.
question. Got a question. What round was Jameer Gibbs was again?
I see him right here at the beginning of the third, so it's questionable as the second or third round, but it's right in between those two for sure.
Could you tell me what round was David Montgomery again?
Oh damn, Monty. Let's see. Manny had him, and he drafted him in the 6th round.
Ah, ooh,
Damn,
ah. Oh yeah, okay.
damn. Where's Jordan? Call Jordan right now.
That's how you do a rock bottom his ass right there. Yo, son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
Damn. Oh man, we need him. We need that man. Yeah, that was a good pick. That was a good pick. Now Montgomery's hurt, so and he was top 3 running back. I mean, he was getting 30 carries, just insane volume.
And I'm so glad he died on when I played him.
Yeah. No, you're right. You didn't have to face him, and then
Tampa Bay Bucks.
I know. So there's two things run me by. You bench Cortland Sutton, that almost cost you. He ended up getting more catches, actually more points than Jerry Jeudy. The Denver offense is a mess. What's your game plan moving forward with between these two guys?
Just play the streaming, quarterback right now, and for Russell Wilson and for Cortland Sutton and Judy. Um, Hopefully Judy gets traded.
You think that's gonna happen?
I hope so.
Yeah.
So Cortland Sutton could rise up a little bit.
Yeah, they were talking about how maybe going to the Colts or something like that.
I seen today, Green Bay Packers was interesting.
What?
hmm
Okay.
Yeah.
I see you, Jerry Jeudy. All right. Yes, a lot of teams are interested in this dude. We'll see. Denver's a mess, and they're trying to get rid of talent. So, yeah, they can definitely do it. And yeah, any last words? Anything you want to tell the league or give your thoughts on before we get you out of here?
No, it's just I'm 2-4 right now.
Yeah, so right now you're 2-4, and you're second in your division. Let me see. No, you're in you're tied with Sajid actually. So
Right. So just a game at a time. That's what I call it. And for
yeah,
everybody who's down there, you still got more. If you're 2-3, 2-4 like me, and one in whatever, a game at a time, boys. We'll get there.
yeah. Anything
Don't
can
give up.
flip.
You know,
Don't give up.
don't give up.
I
You
hear
know.
you. Yeah, I'm with
And
you there.
Carlos, you need to start trading.
Car-
You too, Jeff.
Carlos ain't going to trade. He did 0 last year, so
You know.
cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on. Good luck the rest of the way. Congratulations on being the first one to slay the Manny Dragon.
Oh man,
Um,
that was a scary one.
that's a tough one for sure. So hopefully you get more, and then
I think he gave me that one though. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
I think, yeah, because he's gonna go hard after this. I feel
yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. But cool, man. Good luck.
All right, guys. Yep. I'll see you guys later.
Peace.